Everyone, thank you for joining us. We're so glad that you can make it. We're incredibly excited for this week's event. We are streaming live right now on Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn Live, I believe maybe Amazon Prime Live. And so we're really broadcasting all out, mainly centered here in Airmeet, and we just couldn't be more happy to have you all to join us. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mike Morgan. I'm the Vice President of Operations and Partnerships here at TF Labs, as well as our spin-out company, NiftMint. So today we have a very interesting topic. We're talking about how to get a job in Web3. And as I often say to people, you ask 1,000 different people in this industry how they got into it, and you'll get 1,000 different answers because you can't go major right now in blockchain technologies. I don't know of very many university programs that offer specializations. And so the inroads into this industry are really unique. One thing we always love to do when we start these things out is if people would just write in the chat where they're visiting in from. We'd love to see the different places people are coming from. We've had people all over the world, so it's super fun to see the differentiation from event to event. So if you're watching us on Airmeet, please in the chat write where you're visiting in from. There's a chat bar on the right-hand side. If you're watching on a different streaming platform, please feel free to visit our Twitter at TFLabs_. And there's a link there to the Airmeet where you'll be able to write in and say where you're coming from and join us sort of in what we're doing. And so it looks like okay, great. We've got Louis visiting us from Vancouver. Fantastic. Right up the road from us. A quick fun story is, while we were headed up to an event in Vancouver pre-pandemic, we're actually coming back across the border, and we were stopped by Customs and Border Patrol for the United States, and they asked, "What are you doing?" And we said, "Oh, we're returning from a panel." He said, "What kind of panel?" We said, "We were putting on a blockchain one." And he said, "Are you guys hodlers?" And we said, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've got." And he started to list off a bunch of different cryptos he had. And this was 2018. And so and great memories from visiting Vancouver and being surprised by that. So Louis, thanks for tuning in. Vivek, awesome. TaxBit here in Seattle. First time at a TF Labs digital event. That's fantastic. You'll have to come to our in-person events that we'll be hosting soon. We've got people coming from Austin, Texas, Los Angeles. I like Raincouver. That's appropriate. Little rainy in Seattle as well. Austin, Portugal. Great. This is fantastic. Thank you all for coming. One big thing we also like to do in the first half section of this is we'd like to call people who are interested in pursuing a job or a career in Web3 to raise their hand, because we want to have you up on stage to introduce yourself, say your name, your background, and sort of why you're interested in entering Web3 and sell yourself. We like to do 30 seconds to a minute for each person doing that. And it's an interesting opportunity for people to one, get to hear others sort of pitching themselves and pitching why they should be in this Web3 space. And two, it's a good opportunity to hear yourself. And third, at the end of this, we'll have, in the last little section, we will have some people working in different roles in Web3, sort of talking about what they heard, what they thought, and other opinions on how to get a job in Web3. So again, if you're looking to explore the space, or if you're new to the space, please raise your hand. I would love to call you on stage and love to have you talk with us and just do that brief little 1-minute elevator pitch. And again, if you'd like to be on stage, and if you're watching on Prime Live or YouTube or Twitch or any of our other streaming platforms, again, feel free to join the Airmeet session where we're hosting this. The link for that is on our Twitter at TFLabs_. So please raise your hand. Let's see what kind of people we can bring up on stage. And as we wait for people to raise their hand and come up on stage, my quick background in the space was I was working in management consulting in Washington, D.C. at the time. And I had sort of achieved all the goals I had set out to achieve when I first moved to Washington, D.C. from Washington State. And so I was ready to move back to Seattle, had no idea what I wanted to do. And I found a e-commerce company that I reached out to and said, "Hey, this looks really interesting. I like what you guys are doing. would love to talk further. Well, the person I reached out to is Jonathan G. Blanco, the founder and CEO of TF Labs and the spin-out NIFMint. And he said, that's interesting. Give me a little more information. I sent him more information, and then he ghosted me for 2 months. I didn't hear anything from him. So I moved across the country, was out here in Seattle trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and got that ping back from Jonathan that was like, hey, so sorry, circling back to this. And we've been working together in the blockchain and Web3 space ever since that 2017, 2018 time. So I didn't know that this e-commerce company had a big blockchain component to it. I didn't know anything about blockchain at the time. I was walking to work on my first day, listening to podcasts from different crypto podcasts. And at the time, it was all the ICO boom. It was all these companies that would raise a bunch of money by selling tokens, and then hopefully the tokens go up in value and the companies go up in value. So it was a wild time to join on in. So anyways, a very interesting and unique time to get into blockchain technology. Again, we'd love to have people up on stage. Looks like we have some coming up right now. Javier, are you joining us right now?
Yeah, hi. Javier. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, how's it going?
Very good. Very happy to be here and wishing to learn about this.
Great. Well, Javier, why don't you just give us a quick introduction? Let's do a minute on sort of who you are, your background, and why you're what you're looking to get into.
Right now I live in Mexico, and I'm going to move this year to Canada. So I want to learn a bit about this. I studied computer science. I have working in
Hey Javier, your audio is cutting in and out a little bit. I don't know if there's an audio issue on your end, but I think we're having a little bit of an audio issue hearing you. Do you want to try and see if we can get that sorted out?
Yeah, okay. I'll be here. Thank you.
I think you're sounding okay. So quick. So you're moving up to Canada. What do you do now, and what are you moving to? What kind of work are you going to be doing up in Canada? Do you know?
Not yet. That's why I'm here.
and what's your work background?
Computer sales here in Mexico. And I'm trying to get to this Web3 part.
Very good. All right. Well, Javier, thank you for joining us up on stage. Nice to have you up. Sorry that there was a little bit of an issue with the audio, but we're glad you're joining us today, and hopefully you learned some valuable lessons, and maybe have a couple people that you can reach out to after this. So Javier, thank you so much for joining us up on stage. We have Ross with us, by the way. Ross is our director of community and events, and he is in the background running this event and helping move people on and off stage. And so if you hear me asking Ross questions, please forgive me. But Ross, is there anybody else who's looking to join us on stage right now? If you're looking to join us on stage, please raise your hand. There's a little hand raise button, I believe at the bottom of the video. It looks like a little smiley face. Click it. Your hand will be raised, and Ross will be able to put you up on stage. And I want to give a big thanks to Ross. He's fantastic. He's the Jamie to our Joe Rogan, the master behind the scenes. And so super helpful having him handle all the technological considerations about this. So I can just sit back and focus on smiling and making eye contact with the camera. And so Ross, do we have anybody else who has their hand raised looking to come on stage and do a little pitch on themselves? Great. Looks like we don't have, so nobody raising their hand quite yet. Great. So I think then if people are, we'll say maybe a little bit tepid, or the audience is a little bit different today to come on stage and sort of do the 1 minute pitch. we'll go ahead and just invite the speakers up on stage, and we will sort of start talking through them and their backgrounds, how they got into Web3, and what they're sort of looking for people who are coming into the space. So great, let's have Alyssa up on stage. Hey, Alyssa. And Alyssa, it looks like your microphone's off. Oh, there we go. Fantastic.
Oh, good, right?
Hey, Alyssa, why don't you just give an introduction for everybody listening on the different platforms?
Yeah. My name is Alyssa. I am currently a recruiter with Ripple. Previously, I worked doing technical recruiting with kind of a bigger staffing agency. And then previous to that, I actually worked in event management. So I kind of had a roundabout way of coming into this space as well. So hopefully I can share, just some tips and tricks that are beneficial.
Fantastic. Alyssa, I'm so glad you're here, and I think you're going to bring great perspective today. And Ross, let's go ahead and bring Nelson up on stage. Nelson, there he is. Hey, Nelson, how are you?
Hi all, how are you doing today?
Good. Yeah, I'd love if you just give us a little introduction on who you are and what you do.
For sure. So yeah, my name is Nelson. I am head of global HR operations at Gate.io. We are a crypto exchange, as you may be aware. I've always worked, I guess, in the space of tech. So first within an engineering company, and then in a Web2 company, I would put it. And at some point, I started actively looking for jobs in Web3 and within the crypto space. I had a job at the time, and I was already, somewhat aware of the difference between maybe going for a more sustainable project or a more kind of enticing small team, but on the other hand, might get a rug at some point. So I took my time finding like a good sustainable environment that I found was interesting, worked my way through the community and got the attention of the right people. So when the opportunity came up for a job, I was there, and that worked out. So here I am.
Fantastic. When I first got into the Web3 space, I didn't know anything about it at all. Nelson, it sounds like you were already decently immersed in the Web3 environment by that time. Maybe you had your own wallets, maybe you had done some purchases or investments. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I definitely had my own investments. So it's interesting because whenever you talk to people about what attracts them to either like crypto, blockchain, Web3, whatever, it's always one of three things. It's either the potential for financial gains, or the technology aspect of it, or the philosophy of decentralization. So for me, it's definitely the latter. So I had done some reading. It was well over maybe 3 or 4 years that I was kind of touch and go in the space, getting more and more, spending more and more time there. So I also have, well, it's not my own, but I'm also involved in an IoT blockchain project that I kind of lead locally. So yeah, I was somewhat in the space for sure.
Brilliant. And Alyssa, how about yourself? When you sort of became a technical recruiter for Ripple, where were you in the Web3 learning curve?
Little to none. So the staffing agency that I worked at previously, I was not particularly thrilled with some of the clients that we worked with and some of the projects that I was recruiting for. I wanted to work on something that was more cutting edge and just relevant to our current society. So I was actually poached by, it's a third party that I work for, and Ripple is their client. And we actually have a lot of various crypto currency clients. And so I was really excited to get placed over at Ripple and have, kind of been slowly building that knowledge and acumen of the space. But that being said, still, very new myself, and am not quite as technological as the people that I interact with. But, that being said, I'm just thrilled to have these sort of conversations and play a role in the development of this space.
So what's great is you both are on, I would say, relatively different ends of the spectrum, which is great perspective for the people listening in, because one of the most difficult things is, how do I ramp up, right? How do I get to the point of understanding where I'm able to talk about this at some kind of level, where I'm able to sort of map my skills and what I'm good at into this space. So Alyssa, on your end, from early on in the adoption curve, what are some really great resources you like? What are some ways that you like to get up to speed on, we'll call it Web3 tech, and what would you advise for people just getting started?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of different pieces of advice that I could give. Some are a little bit more intuitive, coming down to paring down your resume or updating your LinkedIn or different interview tactics, that sort of thing. But for me personally, I would say having a really close connection with the engineers on the teams that I'm actually recruiting for. That's been the biggest component of ramping up.
Yeah.
So I guess to translate that into kind of a different format, really just networking as much as possible, joining things like this, talking to people when you're out and about. I've recruited people that I've met outside of dive bars before. So I think just having that kind of like curious nature will really help anyone within this space.
Great. You heard it here first, everyone. To get a job in Web3, go to dive bars. It's a surefire way. It's a streamlined process. Nelson, how about yourself? Sort of from your end, how do you think about people ramping up in terms of knowledge, and just being able to speak about it in an educated manner in Web3 technology?
So definitely dive bars, especially over the next, the last couple of weeks, I would say, given the current status of the market, you'll find a lot of us there. Mulling over some poor decision making.
Absolutely.
Which is healthy. It's part of it. It's fine. No, but definitely agree with what Alyssa said in terms of just working the community. I don't think there's ever been an environment or an ecosystem where it's been so important to just be known and have a track record within the Discords, the Reddit channels, knowing the right people, not in terms of classical networking, but having people vouch for you that are already in the project, have somebody reference you. And I think more and more, this actually kind of is substituting some more formal job hunting techniques, let's say, where it's much more about the connections between the people that you establish in an ecosystem, more than, let's say, the formal hints you typically give. I have an interesting story where we hired this person, I think about a month ago, where I was sifting through CVs as one does, just to help out the team, because we have a lot of volume of hiring right now. So I took up just one or two headcounts from them, and there was this one CV that caught my eye, because she said, "Hi, my name is so and so, known as so and so on this Discord channel," and in between brackets she had, "But you know who I am on there." And I just thought, well, this is cocky, but anyone who writes this on their CV probably has a great track record of working with the community, helping out others on Discord. So that led me to going onto that channel, searching through her name, watching her interactions on there. And yeah, that was definitely at that stage the main factor that got her onto the short list. So yeah, I would say talk with the community, talk with the people, help people. Don't be intimidated. If you're new to Web3, don't be intimidated by being new to this space. I mean, there's so many new people joining these channels every day. If you spend an hour a day there, after 1 week, you'll find yourself in possession of knowledge that other people who joined that day are asking. So it's quite a steep learning curve. So I would say community and connections are definitely the right place to start, for sure.
Great. And Nelson, I think you did a great job transitioning us into the next thing I kind of wanted to look at, which is, what are some hard things you can be doing to help increase your odds of getting a job in Web3? What are some things that you can be doing today to just really sort of put yourself at the top of that pile? So Alyssa, what are some, as a technical recruiter are you a technical recruiter or are you a general recruiter? for technical recruiter for Ripple. What are some things that you see, or maybe you wish you could see more of, that really just sort of makes you pay attention, makes you want to talk to this person more and sort of explore the process with them more?
Yeah, I think piggybacking off of what Nelson said, this is a newer space. So it merits being a little bit more creative, both in your job hunt and then also your candidate search. And the candidate that he spoke about specifically, I kind of like what she put because it shows her personality. I think that a lot of times we're afraid to just show a little bit of our personality throughout the recruitment process. And that's really important because the companies that you're applying for are going to be somewhat newer. So all of the previous kind of narratives around hiring really aren't there any longer. And you want to stand out as a human. I think on top of that, highlighting your passions towards this space and how you are developing yourself within this knowledge is really important. Whether or not you have that hands-on, tangible experience, that's going to really make you stand out, because at the end of the day, that's what companies are targeting, is people that are really passionate about the space. Yes, there's money to be made there, but what else interests you about it?
Yeah, fantastic. And to go along with all of this, we had a great question from the audience from Chris Mirpaw, who said, "Can you suggest some credible channels that aren't full of hype and spam?" Or I think to shift the question a little bit, and it's a great question, believe me. I feel your pain, Chris. I feel your pain. What are some sort of groups or environments? Of course, TF Labs, we like to think of ourselves like this, but some good avenues that people can be either joining or doing to sort of, one, put them closer to the action, two, help bring them up to speed more in terms of the understanding and the engagement with the community, and third, and most importantly, not just be a hyper fluff pit, a ooh-rah-rah group. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Sure. So I'm just starting off here at Discord so I can share the link with you guys. One channel on Discord that I find is really, really helpful because it's active. They also do a great job with the community, and it's focused towards recruitment in blockchain specifically, is Blockchain Headhunters. I'm in no way related to them, just full disclosure. I just find that they do actually a great job with the community, and it's one of the advantages is that anyone from any project or team or company can just go in there and kind of pitch their company, showcase what roles they have open, and it's just a no middleman kind of approach to job seekers, to job offers, let's say. So from there, you can see who works in which projects, and it's just a great place, like a big yarn ball that you can pull different threads and just go through the different rabbit holes of the different teams currently hiring. So as soon as Discord resets, I'll share the link on here so you guys can check it out.
That's fantastic. Blockchain Headhunters on Discord. Nelson, that's a super, super actionable, I think, low-hanging fruit, easy to get into thing for people interested in looking at careers in Web3. So thank you for that. Alyssa, do you have anything sort of like that? And I won't fault you if you don't, because I know that Nelson's a little bit more down the crypto rabbit hole, I think, than either you or me, maybe. But do you have any thoughts on that, Allison? Or I'm sorry, Alyssa. I'm calling you Allison.
Yeah, definitely. I would defer to Nelson for this question a little bit more. And actually, like as he was speaking, I was taking notes. I'm like, okay, I'm cool. I'm gonna go here and recruit. But I would say it sounds kind of simplistic, but really utilizing LinkedIn to the best of your abilities. Recruiters aren't really doing that classic, reach out, can you send me your updated resume thing anymore. The market is hot and everything is flying really, really quickly. Hiring needs, offers being, given to candidates. So a lot of times we're just pulling details from LinkedIn profiles. So my biggest piece of advice is, again, super simplistic, but like really put some time and effort into your LinkedIn. Put a picture up there. Put a good picture up there. Put a banner. Carefully construct a concise summary. Have someone proofread it for you. It's just, these things actually go a really long way, because that's becoming almost like it's your resume to a degree. And so you wouldn't imagine how many developers, I interact with, that they have nothing on their LinkedIn. And for me, I'm like, if you can't really put the time and energy into developing that up, which is pretty simple, it just looks a little novice. Also, what the hashtags you use, what you post. I'm pretty sure you all found me via probably some posting that I put up and the specific hashtags that I used. All of that, you never know what the sort of outcome of that will be. You might meet someone down the line, or just get, just be picked up in ways that you couldn't predict. So again, kind of simplistic, but really just put some time and effort into that LinkedIn.
I love it, and that that helps answer a lot of what Mark Peter asked in the chat of what are some good places to look for a job for Web3 roles. But both of you are hiring in your own respective, and both of you do this a lot. And so why don't you just take a second and plug your own direct channels? Plug the organizations that you're with, sort of what you're looking for right now.
Yeah. So I recruit specifically for RippleNet. At Ripple, there's two business units. One is the consumer side, which is our digital asset XRP. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the other side of the business, our enterprise side, RippleNet, utilizes XRP as a tool to more quickly facilitate cross-border payments. So, in a previous world, sending money internationally can be very convoluted, costly, take a lot of time. You're oftentimes, interacting with intermediary banks. So RippleNet uses blockchain technology to convert those payments from anywhere from a few days to a week to 3 to 5 seconds. So it's really cool, because you see really that practical day-to-day value in crypto and blockchain technology. So that's specifically the team that I'm hiring very heavily for. So of course, if there's anyone here that that strikes their fancy, would love to connect with you.
There we go. Nelson, how about yourself?
Very well. So, we are Gate. We are a crypto exchange. So we kind of go through the full stack of roles that you could imagine. So anything engineering is always hot. A lot of business development, product management roles, a lot of community management, marketing side of things, PR as well. Always hiring on that front as well. On the operations side, also on HR, we're expanding the team as well. And actually, I can be a little bit more specific than that. So for the finance team as well, project management, risk control, internal audit, customer support, always hot. Brand and design, we have a lot of interesting roles right now, really on the forefront of what's in trend. In terms of visual communication, and also a bunch of operating or operations roles as well. You can check them all out in Gate's career page, and one of the team will be more than happy to support you through the process. Yeah, for sure.
There we go. So one question, it's a two-part question I'd like to ask you both, which I always think is fun, is so apart from developer skills, because developers are always in demand, right? So apart from developer skills, what is one thing you would love to see on a resume that for you would move them up to the top of the stack? One actionable thing that people listening here on AirMeet or other places can do, let's say today or this week, to really move them up that stack. And then what's one thing that you've seen that people, I think, put too much emphasis or importance into when they're applying for these roles that really doesn't move the needle for you?
Lisa, you want to go?
Yeah, I can go first. Shorten your resume. Clean up your resume. Keep it really concise.
How long, 1 page, 2 pages, 10 pages?
I mean, if you're super staff level and you have a lot of really cool projects, maybe 2 pages. But that fluff, again, it goes back to that old narrative of hiring. Fluffing up your resume, like that's not it. We have to hire quickly, and hiring managers are looking at sometimes 200 resumes a day. So they just want to get to the meat of, what have you done? What was the business problem? How did you solve it? What technologies did you use? And then what was the outcome? And if you have any sort of data to back that your work up, I mean, even better. Red flags are kind of when I continually see throughout a resume, maintaining and debugging. And, of course, that if that was a part of your role, that an integral part, it could be worth listing. But really, we want to get to the meat of, what did you own? What did you have scope over? And then just keeping it clean outside of that, clean formatting and minimalistic fonts even, because I would say, on one hand, I'll get these super lengthy resumes and it's like, oh goodness, like, you're just listing every single thing you've ever done, like WordPress, And then on the other hand, you get these ones where they like really try to like make them like very visually appealing. And I can appreciate that to a degree. But it's really, you want to get to like the meat and potatoes of the work that you've done, what you're passionate about, and what direction you want to go.
Brilliant. I love these. I love these so much. And if I was in the market for a job, believe me, Alyssa, I would be messaging you ASAP 911. How do I fix my resume? So hearing these things is just makes me thankful that I'm here at TF Labs and not currently searching or perfecting the art of the resume. Nelson, how about you? What's one thing that would just move someone to the upper echelon, the top 10% of the folks you're looking at, if you just saw they had, that they had done this week? And then also conversely, what's something that people think you might care about that you just could care less about?
For sure. So in regards to what stands out in an application, for me, it's definitely evidence. So if you're, have a GitHub account that you can share, that people can go in there. Have, like I said, work the community, be on Reddit, be on Discord, actively work on your online footprint, let's say. So that's verifiable. And, the confidence of saying, this is me on this channel, go and check me out. My actions speak for myself, I think goes a really long way. So other than, it's obviously important also to keep up with the trends, do some reading, do that intellectual part of the homework, but force yourself to have a verifiable online presence, because when you come across with the confidence of saying, just like with a GitHub, if you think of Web2, still, okay, this is my work, this is how I'm helping the community, helping others, taking my time to develop the ecosystem. That same thing applies to Web3 as well. And just having a verifiable online presence, I find, inspires a whole lot of trust, because you can write whatever you want on a CV and I can take it or leave it, but that's you day in and day out, that's you putting, value to your name. So I think just having a track record of evidence and actively working on it, and having this in mind every day when you're online, getting engaged with the community, even if you're starting tomorrow, a month down the line, 2 months, 3 months, somebody's going to be looking at that, and you want to have a web presence that you're proud of. So definitely invest in engaging with the community. And again, things move so fast. It won't take long before you're in a position of helping others, even if you start tomorrow, So that would definitely be for me what would move kind of the needle on the positive end. On the negative side, I would say maybe overselling. So when you present yourself as, I was responsible for X volume of business coming in, or I was responsible for X growth in this channel if it's more towards like community management or marketing roles. People reading, after a while, they'll be able to kind of also place that in the timeline. So, if you grew, let's say, whatever, a Reddit or Discord or Telegram channel for, in 10K people in 6 months, I know if that was kind of bull season or bear season or what it was. So it was probably you and the market as well helping you, or if it wasn't the case, then it was 100% was you. Also, depending on what kind of project it looks like, it's easy to tell if that was just you or if you're part of a larger team and you're kind of going, okay, me and the people around me did this and not just myself. So I would say overselling is something that we encounter a lot as well, but that's kind of easily screenable. But that's something that, it's kind of a sixth sense that when you look at some form of achievement on a CV, there's just a little, thing, a spidey sense that goes off and says, maybe you're overselling here. Maybe this wasn't just you. Maybe this was you at the head of this project or business coming through the company, but you were helped by the fact that the market was highly confident at the time. So I would say overselling is the thing that we encounter the most. That is also kind of a turnoff.
Brilliant. Well, I think our associate Ross just made a great point in the chat when he said speaking on stage at a virtual event is a great way to engage with your community. So even though it's late at night for Nelson in Portugal right now, look at him constantly banging on the doors of the crypto community. So brilliant. You're living your gospel, which I definitely appreciate. And I can say from our side, I think the two big things for us is we want to see people who have done something of their own volition in the space, right? Nothing will make me more excited about someone than if you just downloaded a framework for minting an NFT and you minted your own test NFT, right? If you did that, you're going to jump up to the top of the list, right? If you have a wallet address that you have a history of transactions coming in and out of, you're going to jump up the stack, right? Show me something you've done that your manager didn't ask you to, your boss didn't ask you to, your coworkers didn't ask you to. Show me something you've done in the Web3 space that you did because you wanted to, and all of a sudden, we're taking that person very seriously. I can tell you for a fact, the thing that we don't want to see, though, is the people who are, I'd call them overly zealous about either flipping NFTs or digital assets or otherwise, right? Because I want someone who believes in the technology, the vision of decentralization, sort of the mission of blockchain, more than becoming the next Wall Street warrior, day trader, penny stock, etc. And so for any of you listening, if you don't have a wallet, go get a wallet right now with either MetaMask or Coinbase wallet or My Ether wallet. Also, watch a YouTube video on how to download a framework and mint an NFT, because everybody listening today can get testnet tokens from Rinkeby or from the Mumbai testnet faucet for Polygon or otherwise, and try just minting your own test NFT. And if you have that in a place that you own, I think Alyssa and Nelson will come knocking soon to offer you maybe not everything you ever wanted in life, but definitely some things you wanted. And so, or we see Rodrigo saying Clever Wallet. Yeah, I'm not familiar with either Clever or Cleaver, but another option. There's a bunch of good options for going and getting a wallet, getting a crypto wallet. But I think if you're really serious about getting a job in Web3, get a wallet. It's the first step into entering the space. And so definitely go ahead and do that. So in just a little bit here, we're going to, for maybe the last 5 or 10 minutes, have people up on stage again to pitch themselves now that we've heard them talk. So please raise your hand if you would like to come on stage and do that 1 minute, who you are, what you've done, and what you're looking for. And now that Alyssa and Nelson have given us such great information on sort of how you should be positioning yourself in this space, it'd be really interesting to see what people have to say. But we have a message from Yulia. I'm self-taught about the crypto space, marketing background. Should I create a marketing plan for an NFT collection? That's a great idea. Do things of your own volition. Do things. Show me that little extra emphasis, that little extra want to do, and that will be just phenomenal. If someone came to me with a marketing plan for an NFT project, I'd be super happy. So great. It looks like we have someone on stage. So Alyssa and Nelson, let's hear what Alex has to say. Alex, you have a minute. Why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are and what you're looking for?
Hi, yeah, I'm Alex. I'm originally from Mexico City. I'm a freshly minted Seattleite here. And I'm basically anything crypto right now. I currently work in a crypto company as well. I do basically research on GameFi and then content creation for that space. And yeah, I've been studying development like Solidity and stuff like that. And I think someone hit the nail on the head by saying like keep your online presence, maintain your online presence and your digital footprint basically, because that is kind of like the way that people are looking for new candidates in new companies and such like that.
Fantastic. Well, Alex, that's fantastic to hear, and glad you're entering the space, and glad you're in Seattle. You'll have to come to some events in our office space right here.
Absolutely.
We're located just a couple blocks from the Space Needle. Earlier, I was showing Alyssa and Nelson the Space Needle views from our desks. The only downside is the outdoor light. It sort of makes me look like Casper the Friendly Ghost when I'm on video calls, and so that happens for sure. So, Alex, thank you so much for coming up. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at TFLabs_. Visit our website and stay tuned for events that we have. Looks like we just lost Alex. YF, glad to have you here. Go ahead and turn on your mic and camera phone and just sort of let us know who you are, what you do, and what you're looking to get into.
Yeah, hi Mike, hi Alyssa, hi Nelson. Thanks for coming up online. Yeah, my question probably was already answered after I raised the hand. But anyway, the question was, since Web3 is kind of non-traditional system, right? Can Twitter account or any other social media account be considered as a resume and just avoiding making the resume to send it to the potential employers, but coming up with a Twitter account which shows kind of performance in Web3? And the second question, have you ever reached out anyone directly in Twitter or Discord? So Nelson already said that he reached out someone in Discord. So probably the same could be in Twitter, but generally is that still the case that someone can be reached out for his performance in a social media?
I have never recruited anyone from Twitter.
Right.
But to your point, because this is a newer space, I think it demands creative, more innovative, both recruiting and just candidate highlighting efforts. So who knows? Maybe I'll find my next candidate from Twitter.
Right.
Are you pretty active on Twitter?
Yes, kind of, yes. So yeah, just wondering if, because you mentioned before that about LinkedIn, right? That there should be a picture of a person, and the LinkedIn should be looking nice, and probably employers like that, yeah. So I'm just asking for someone else, if this is anonymous account on Twitter, and you kind of send it to the company and looking for a job or something, would that be considered, do you think, putting up as a resume as your Twitter account?
Yeah, I've never done it, but again, I'm newer to the space. It's just a new space in general. Who knows? Maybe Twitter could be the next route that recruiters go to find just really passionate, engaged developers. someone just commented, I'm not super proud of my Twitter. I'm not really proud of my Twitter either.
Oh,
Probably tweeted when I was like in high school and like
Right. Okay.
but yeah, I love you even just bringing that up. It's worth, discussing.
Right. Cool. Thanks. Thank you.
For sure.
Nelson, have you ever recruited from Twitter?
Yes and no. So not exclusively from Twitter, or online, but definitely used it as kind of a background checker. Not in the sense of seeing what a person is up to, like where they stand politically or stuff like that, but in the sense of, especially for roles around, for example, marketing or community management, media relations, PR. These are roles that will for sure have to use these channels a lot. So seeing how proficient somebody is in these channels definitely helps. But to your point of whether, just online or social media would replace, in my eyes, a CV, maybe I'm already a little bit too much legacy on this, but not for me specifically, because I still need to see a bullet list of what things you accomplished effectively within the company, and a lot of those often aren't publicized on your online media as well. I can infer what some of your soft skills are, but usually those are stated on the CV as well. I can kind of pull those threads in an interview. But I would be open to have somebody from, one of my recruitment teams be like, hey, I don't use CVs. I just go on Twitter and look for people. I'd be like, fine, show me people then. Let's see what that produces. I'd be more than open for that. But as far as my experience goes, I guess I'm not that, young anymore, where for me just Twitter is enough. I would still need some
Right.
kind of like CV condensed information kind of digest on there to help me in that process. So not for me specifically, but like Alyssa said, times are changing. I would be more than open to see that work with with and for somebody for sure.
Right.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Hey, YF. I appreciate you calling in. If you're calling and driving, at least you're wearing your seatbelt. So
Yeah, I'm wearing. Yeah, I just stopped because I thought.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No,
I'm actually on my way to another meetup, and it's a Chainlink meetup, and it's like in 10 minutes in Vancouver. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, have a great time there. Tell the folks we said hello. Thanks for coming on stage.
Thanks a lot.
And,
Yeah.
and we're nearing the top of the hour, so I just wanted to give Alyssa and Nelson sort of. Oh no, we have Alec coming up on stage. So one last person, Alec. Thank you for joining. Ross, if we could do some screen adjustment here, maybe get YF off the screen so we can all be on the screen together. Let's see if our events and community manager Ross can get this back. There we go. Fantastic. Hey, love the background, love the things in the back, super neat. But Alec, why don't you just tell us, who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for?
Hey, yeah, thank you. I don't know. Fun fact, I have my first Web3 interview tomorrow, so
Congratulations.
I'm not sure if this is a proper background for this interview or not. I'm debating to go to a clean room or so.
I give you
no. Add some
everybody, if you like his background, give him a smiley face in the chat on the bottom of the screen. I'm gonna do that because I definitely like it. There we go.
The code is on my GitHub, so that's a proof of work right there. So
there we go. So Alec, who are you? What do you do? And what are you interviewing for?
Yeah, hi. I'm Alec. I'm a software engineer right now. Left college about 2 years ago, so I have some real life experience and whatnot. This is my third meeting from you guys about how to get a job in Web3 and writing notes each time and whatnot. I have my little sticky note of verifiable work and digital footprint, which I totally agree, Nelson. I really started up my Twitter in terms of trying to connect with people in the Web3 space, and same with my GitHub. And so, let's see. My vouch is two things. As a dev, I've used a resource called Build Space that has been super helpful to kind of walk me through some of the initial technologies that I've been using and really get some starter projects up that I've used to demonstrate some technical ability that I've learned from that. I've started like a personal resume website, which I think is perhaps a unique way to stand out, to get something beyond just a resume and cover letter of words as well, that links to these projects that anyone looking over it can actually interact with and see that you've built something useful or that you can work with. Lastly, podcasts for me are huge. I commute to work every single day, and working in Web 2, it's very easy to sink out of the Web 3 realm and completely forget about it. And so podcasts for me help me remain in that headspace and keep thinking about what's new and exciting. And that's actually how I heard about a CEO that was doing kind of a smaller startup company that I reached out to on Twitter, and how I have an interview tomorrow. So nothing big and fancy for the big companies, but as someone with perhaps a little bit less experience, but still wanting to get their foot in the door, I think a startup as well is just as exciting, perhaps.
Alec, congratulations! That's so exciting. We're tremendously excited for you.
Well done.
Please follow up with us and let us know how it goes. We love that you're a three-peat visitor to these things, and hopefully the information over the last 3 sessions will give you that little boost up over the competition. So again, we're just incredibly excited to see how it goes. Thanks for joining us on stage, and please follow up with us after it's done, so we can hear from an interviewee side how it went. So great. Top of the hour, Alyssa and Nelson, thanks so much for joining us. I'd love to give you guys just 1 minute apiece to plug your companies one more time, or how people should reach out to you if they'd like, and what you're looking for.
Want to go ahead, Alyssa?
Yeah, I could definitely plug Ripple again, which I would love to do. But more than anything, what I would love to plug is, and I was actually just looking at someone's comment in here. Do you know of any certifications or education materials that would help you get a job in Web3? I do not, but something that I'm very passionate about is targeting individuals that are maybe from lower socioeconomic areas, or women as well. So that will demand me kind of shifting the recruiting process over at Ripple, just because it's kind of the standard look for a CS degree right now, but unfortunately that's not something that everyone has access to. So what I will plug is build your colleagues up, build individuals that don't have access to all the resources that potentially you have up, specifically women. Yeah, so that's my little soapbox.
Fantastic.
We're all together.
Alyssa, I appreciate that so much, and especially so in the crypto community, we're all pulling together, and there are definitely a lot of people who it's difficult enough to break into, and then you add a bunch of more societal barriers on top. It just becomes exponentially more difficult. So thank you for bringing that up, Alyssa. Nelson, would love to give you a minute to plug whatever you like and share your thoughts.
So let me actually first, I'll use my minute to do good on a promise I made a few minutes ago. So on the chat here, you have the links for the blockchain headhunter community, where you guys can follow a bunch of threads on where to find jobs in Web3. And answering this most recent question, the University of Nicosia in Cyprus here in Europe has a great MOOC, which is like a multi-person online course that is free. Not on Web3 in general, but on digital cryptocurrencies. And it's as good as any academic degree you'd get at an entry level in a university. It's free. It's actually a module of a broader master's they have in blockchain in general. So for those of you who want to have like a certified education at an entry level in blockchain, this is an amazing place to start. It's absolutely free. I actually have everybody on the team do it, so you can register now, and I think the next round will start in September. So there's plenty of time, and you can. It's much like what we're doing here. You get to know your class. You can join online. You can do some work together as well. It's great for networking, and the contents are actually lectured by really great professionals. So this is a free resource for you guys to just have a academic level certification, and it is certified, widely recognized, at least in Europe. So this is a great place to start as well, and get your Web3 IQ on.
For everybody listening, if you didn't copy and save to a text editor, I urge you to do so right now, because I certainly Control-C and Control-V'd that into a little text document. So I want to thank you both genuinely, because This space is difficult, and we really are pulling together because it's such a new and nascent technology, and we're still figuring out what it is. And we're just trying to be a rising tide to lift all boats and not be married solely to crypto prices or flipping digital assets for profit. There's so much more that we're trying to accomplish. So thank you both in your own respective rights for what you're adding to this community. And I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today on AirMeet and Twitch and YouTube and LinkedIn and Amazon and whatever other streaming services in the future we can plug into. So thank you all for joining. Please feel free to visit www.tflabs.io for more information. For those of you in Seattle, we have an in-person event coming up tomorrow, as well as our big conference next week on June 1st. So thank you all again for coming. Alyssa, Nelson, great to have you on here. You're both terrific. And we will see you at our next event. All right. Take care, everyone.